Meraki for aged care or healthcare presentation. My name is Paul Wolf, and I'm one of the product marketing managers here at Cisco Meraki. And I'm here with my colleague who will be going through and actually answering questions that you have throughout the duration of this presentation. So feel free to submit any of those questions that you have right now. I will actually save a little bit of time at the end for a little bit more Q&A if there are things we can live. So on our agenda and our overview today, we're going to start out with an introduction to Meraki and aged care, again, healthcare. We'll talk about the reasons why people choose Cisco Meraki and why we recommend choosing Cisco Meraki. I'll give what's always my favorite part of any presentation. I'll give a live demo, and we'll actually just jump right into the product. I will show you live data, how IT organizations actually are using this now with a real network. Next, I will go over the product portfolio, which actually dives in uniquely to each different product that we offer in the Cisco Meraki portfolio. And then finally, I'll give you some resources, so areas where you can learn more, try out the product, do different things like that. So for our introduction, first off, I want to talk to you about Cisco Meraki. So the way that Cisco Meraki got started is that we kind of looked at the market and we realized that networking is very complicated. And you may know us from years back starting out as a wireless-only product. And so we've grown a lot since there now to support an entire IT portfolio, as you can see kind of over here on the left, and that includes wireless, security appliances, we do switching, we have communications, even including an IP-based phone. We also do device management. So Cisco's Enterprise Mobility Management solution is also part of this Meraki stack, as well as our MV, so our security camera solution. So, and I'll be showing you a lot more of this when I, go through the live demo, as well as talk about the different products in the portfolio. But we have this huge array of different customers all over the world in different verticals and industries. It's a very cool place to be. And what we do with this IT stack is it's all managed in the cloud. And naturally, kind of the question that happens out of that is what does out of band look like? What does security look like? What do all of these things look like? And so we built this to kind of show you some of the different things and show you that with this modern day technology, we're actually very focused on a ton of different use cases, including reassuring you with your data, with reliability and security, things like that. So it is built into a very intuitive, simple browser-based dashboard, which again, I will be showing you later in our live demo, but that allows you to manage all of the different products in the portfolio. Also, what's cool about this out-of-band management is that it's unlimitedly scalable. And the reason why is because all of your devices, if you see this graphic on the left, only management data, management traffic, configuration, things like that will actually go from devices to the Meraki cloud and back. The rest of the user traffic goes out your normal tunnel, and that gets routed accordingly. So you're not bottlenecked. Everything doesn't have to pass through the cloud. We're not seeing client data. So it keeps you with that security. We have tons of customers who are using this product to become fully HIPAA compliant, as well as PCI compliant. We're level 1, also many different levels of PCI compliant. For the solution itself, we're constantly doing third-party security audits, daily penetration tests. So I highly recommend when you're looking at the product, check out that meraki.com/trust website that we link here at the bottom. That will resolve to meraki.cisco.com/trust. And that will actually show you even more information about our compliance status, what we're doing for all these things if you are interested in that model. So the last thing that I'll say on this out-of-band management that's really cool about how we've built these products is that all the configuration that a device uses to function is actually stored on that device itself. So we'll push down the configuration, we'll push down firmware updates, things like that to a device, but then it's going to hold its own. So even if you lose access to the internet, switches can still switch packets. Routers can still hit their MPLS, can still push traffic through. Wireless access points can still service clients. Those things keep working even if you lose internet, let alone if you lose connectivity to the Meraki cloud. So really cool way that this is all built in order to more efficiently manage your networks and everything around that. So as we look specifically around aged care, healthcare, you find these key drivers. So one of those is just mobility in general. So mobility has become ubiquitous. It's all over the place. We're seeing tons of mobile devices, and this is a very good, but also a complicated thing. But what is great about this, and we'll start here, is that mobile health and BYOD are fundamentally changing the way that we see physicians and patients and doctors interacting with technology as well as each other and all of these different things. So there's tons of tools and resources that are now available that did not used to be available. We're also seeing a lot in the realm of telemedicine. So how are doctors and patients directly interacting? So is that virtually? Are you setting up an actual meeting over email and you're going to meet in person? Or maybe is this telecommuting or telepresence that you're using to actually connect doctors and patients? It's becoming very efficient. It's becoming a better experience. There's much more tools and things that can be utilized. So the other part here is focusing on new IT priorities. So we're seeing this much increased specialized areas within IT. So one of these, you're going to be very worried about security and how you can actually utilize big data, different things like that to increase what you can actually provide as a healthcare provider. How can you also mitigate legal risks? How can you maintain and check HIPAA compliance? Lots of different things like this. So these are key drivers of not just mobile, but different technologies and modern day technologies. So here are some inherent challenges around that, of course. So doctors and patients are already coming into this just with higher expectations, regardless of where the institution that you're managing is at. There's already the expectations that their mobile device is going to work with their network. If not that they can probably utilize technology and resources in order to talk with the organization. On top of that, we're seeing much more healthcare professionals that they really do have expectations built around accessing immediate data. So who is this patient? I don't have to check a clipboard necessarily. I can look them up. I can send things to them. I can see their history. These are lots of things that are just becoming table stakes as far as users, guests, doctors, and patients are seeing this. So there's tons of expectations that are being built in this modern day society. They also expect not just to be a part of the telemedicine requirements, but they're expecting those to be high quality. So how are you actually connecting the voice and video in a way that actually is prioritized in a network that connects seamlessly? It looks good. The performance is optimized and different things like that. And maybe the biggest challenge here is a mixture of having finite IT resources, not just along budget, but budget's a big concern there, as well as IT staff. So personnel, budget, you can't just dramatically increase your budget to encapsulate more employees, add more IT staff and teams, grow the teams, as well as adding much more technology there. So all of these things are concerns and challenges when you're going into these new IT priorities, new initiatives, and managing different expectations. So that leads us, of course, right into our next area where I want to talk about why people are currently choosing Meraki. Why use Meraki within aged care, within healthcare as it's developed today. So one of the huge drivers for this is the value of the Meraki full stack. So like I mentioned earlier on, it's no longer just a wireless solution. It's not guest Wi-Fi. It's even from the Wi-Fi standpoint, it's made for high density, lots of clients, all these different things. And with the full stack, it actually builds out into all these technologies that work together. Have the same dashboard, same product that's managing that high density Wi-Fi that can also show you a security center and integrate with advanced malware protection, intrusion detection, prevention, different things like that. We can also hook up a guest splash page. You can do port security. We have a whole slew of built-in APIs that you can utilize that I'll talk about a little bit later, so I won't go too much into that. but as well as logging and analytics. So you have this. It makes your IT team more efficient. It's reliable. It provides secure connectivity that's constantly evolving. And this is a huge benefit of the cloud management and the model that we've implemented for how devices are controlled and updated, is that as soon as there are security concerns or maybe new signatures and different things like that, we can push them out. And so this model all ties into, one, making you a better organization from an IT standpoint, but it also makes you more efficient when you have these different platforms that are made to work together and are managed in the same portfolio. So again, I will show this more in the demo itself, but let me show you a couple more reasons here. So if you look at the industry, this is not a commoditized common thing that we see within technology for vendors to actually include multiple different solutions in the same portfolio. So Meraki is the only one that offers everything IT all together with this. So it's the same platform that's going to allow you to help doctors, patients, staff, and everybody be actually connected wirelessly, connected mobilely, as well as in their high-density wireless environments. But it's also going to have the solution that's securing all of those devices, as well as your assets, as well as your desktops, as well as everything else that's built onto the network. And it's also providing best-in-class service and support, not just for tools to set up your network, but to also help troubleshoot users, your network devices, as well as automate the different things that you want to accomplish onto a network. And again, I mentioned this earlier, but we have this rich ecosystem of APIs, both so that you can utilize them in order to interact with the platforms and the databases you're already using as an organization. But we've also built out a long list of technology partners that actually make this a better experience all around. So without further ado, I'm going to jump into what's, again, my favorite part of any presentation we give. I'm going to get into our live demo. So for that, all I have to do is hop over to my web browser of choice. For me, that's Chrome. And you can come to Meraki.com, again, which resolves to Meraki.cisco.com, and simply log in. So here we have our Meraki Dashboard. This is where I've logged in already. And this shows you everything that you need to manage your entire network, your device management, everything that you can think of. And one thing I'll point out here, if you look on the left-hand side, you can actually see all of the different device types uniquely, as well as this consolidated view that shows you across the entire network all of the clients that you have. So I'll start here for this clients page. We'll leave that open. And what this is going to do, if you load the clients page, it's going to show you all of the different unique devices you have on that network. What's great about this page is two things that I want you to take away. So the first one here is that it's entirely customizable. So even if I'm looking at this data set, I love that I have a bunch of different stuff with a bunch of users. I love that it shows this graph here. You might want to actually make it for a different range of time. So I don't have to only look at the last day. I can do last week, or let's actually make this for the last 30 days. So now you can see our different traffic patterns over the different days. You can see it's a little bit lower on site during the weekends, and you can see when we have peaks and valleys and things like that. The other way that this is customizable is by the actual table itself. So if I click over here, I want last seen to actually be right here on this part. It's as easy as that to drag these around and drop them in a different column. I can also sort this ascending or descending by whichever column I want. So I want it to be sorted by usage and not the time that device was last seen. So I sort it by usage, so it's going to be less variable. It's just going to show me here's the devices that are really taking up a lot of bandwidth. The other thing that you can see that it does here is that this page, and the second thing I want you to take away from it, is that it's very interactive. So you can see even as I mouse over this, if you look up, if you watch this area that I'm drawing over right now and where it shows the different stats for that week, when I mouse over this, it shows you the specific traffic for that device. So just as I'm kind of going through this, it shows you the traffic that they're using and when there were peaks and different stuff like that. It's also entirely searchable here, which is cool. So not only does it interact to me mousing around and moving over things, but I can actually search for specific kinds of things. And I can use common language here too. If I'm looking specifically for Windows devices, all I have to do is type Windows, and now you can see I have all of our different Windows devices sorted by usage. And also, if I want to type in multiple terms here, let's say I'm specifically looking for Adam Abella's Windows device because I'm troubleshooting with him. We're figuring out what his connectivity looks like, what he's accessing, things like that. It's as easy as typing that in, up pops that device. Last thing that I'll show you before I dive more into one of the devices, you can also come here and see kind of a pie chart of different things that are being used. So you can see like real-time streaming protocol there were about 3.7 terabytes of data that were used to download within the last 30 days. And if I just go around this, you can see how much file sharing was used in different things like that. Or if I click more right here, this is actually going to show you all of these things, give you more granular information. So again, it's very interactive, easy to use, and as I like use the portal, it's going to open up to the specific things I'm looking for. And let me show you a couple more examples of that. So let's go back to our Windows example where we're looking at Adam Abella's device. If I click on this, not only can I see that device to get some quick information, but if I click on it, it's going to take me directly to that device. So I now see which wireless access point he's associated to. I can see the SSID he's on, his actual location based off of the access point he's connected to. I can see the usage, again, over those days. I see just his device. I see specifically what kind of application traffic he's using. If I mouse over this, you can see he's used 1.5 gigs of Google traffic. You can also assign policies and do a lot of things like that. And this is the first place where I can show you how cool it is to have the direct integration with our other products. So just by having any network device, you get the kind of visibility that's up here at the top of the screen. If I come down here where it says Systems Manager is our Enterprise Mobility Management, or our MDM, our Mobile Device Management Solution. And since we've also deployed that, you can see even more. I see connectivity status for this device, whether it's on or off the network. I can see installed software. And actually, if I drill into this device, if I want to see details on it, it's going to take me even more granularly into that device. It'll show me the security compliance status of that device, what antivirus is on there, security policies, a bunch of stuff like that, as well as give you these unique live tools by that device. So since this is a Windows device, we have RDP that we can do on there. We have power controls. We can send a notification. I can even pull some network statistics off this device remotely. Again, whether the network or off. In this specific case, if you're using the device management software. So let me come back over here to the networking side of the house. So again, this part on the bottom does require the device management. You don't need that to actually get visibility into a device and their network traffic and things like that. So let's actually keep moving up the networking stack. So we have here an end device. What's really cool that you might notice here, I highlighted that there's an access point that it's connected to, but what you can see if you mouse over it is that this is a hyperlink. So if I click on there, on this, it's actually going to take me directly to that wireless access point that this device is connected to. So it takes me right up the stack. I'm from an end device. I'm now on the Meraki access point. This shows me live the uplink traffic that's happening to that access point. This shows you the clients who are still connected to this device right now as we speak, which, and if you just notice that, the signal strength is live updating. It'll show you the connectivity, this usage chart, all kinds of helpful information, as well as all the clients that we're seeing on there in the last day. The other thing that it does is every Meraki product includes a different set of unique live tools that you can use. So you saw in the device management software that we can do things like remote onto a device. You know, maybe you're pushing applications or sending a notification to a device or a group of devices. But on a Meraki access point, if we come over here to our tools, you're going to see different things like rebooting an access point, maybe testing throughput, do a trace route to a specific website or something that you want to see how it goes. And you're going to run that, and it's actually going to lead you through all of these directly, and it's going to help you out by showing you this different information. So you can see where this trace route hit, how long it took to do different things. I could do the same thing with an ARP table if I want to ping this device or a client device that's downstream from it. It's incredibly easy to troubleshoot and get more information on these devices. You also have some cool ability here, like if you want to check RF, we actually have this high level of intelligence that will show you over time when clients were connected to this, what your channel utilization looked like, what the usage was at. We give you all different kinds of intelligence across all the devices. And as you can see, I was just live troubleshooting. Again, this is a real network. This is a live network. I could go all over the place and just check these out. So let's actually continue up the networking stack. So now you can see not only do I have LAN IP address of this access point, everything like that, but you can see here on the Ethernet for that access point did with a gig full duplex to closet 3.2.1. So you might be wondering what that is. So let's click it. This is going to take us, as you may have guessed, right into our closet switch. So it's connected directly to this switch. We can see again all this live data to show on this switch, here are the ports that are being utilized. You can see this port is off, it's disabled. All of these ones have this little lightning bolt denoting that PoE is enabled on that port. This one has an arrow showing you that it's an uplink. And you can also see that the physical stacking, this device is physically stacked, connected at these ports. Again, you get this client utilization, see all the clients who have passed through this switch. So even at line rate for a device like a switch that's quickly switching packets and connecting clients and doing stuff like that, you actually still get this wealth of client traffic and network statistics. So it's really, really cool visibility that you get. And one of the things that I mentioned earlier is that you actually have live tools, again, across every device type. So on a switch, it might look a little bit different than it looks on an end device or an access point. Some are similar, like you have ping, you have reboot device, or I can blink the LEDs. So if I have an on-site tech, I know they're looking at the right switch. But this also has some really cool things, like maybe looking at a MAC forwarding table, throw some magic packets through a wait client, or by far my favorite is the cable test. So if you actually run a cable test on one of these ports, what it's going to do is actually going to test that out to show you here are the ports that you have, and here are the Ethernet. Here are the actual different links that are available on that Ethernet, and give you an idea of how big, what the connection looks like. So let's actually just run this one live. I'll do it over this one port because we know that it's actually plugged in. So if I want to do a cable test, let's do it just over port 1. We want to run that. You can see immediately this shows me that that Ethernet cable has pairs 1, 2, 3, and 4 are all connected. They all look good. And it tells you here, here's the link as well as the estimated length of that cable. So this is extremely helpful if you're troubleshooting. This will help you if maybe this cable is too long, it's shorter than you thought it would be, or you're expecting to see some of these pairs are connected when they're not. So that would very quickly tell you, hey, we do need an on-site tech to replace this cable head or maybe the cable entirely, whereas that would have taken lots of time, huge amounts of operational cost, or maybe even more IT staff to go out there and do this. So great example of like direct tools that you can use in the platform. So another thing that's cool, you'll see more information since this is a switch. If I came over and I wanted to see what is our STP route, this connects you here. It's core 1. It's connected here. And it actually provides a direct link to that. So if I actually want to click on this, again, this takes me further up the network to our core switch. So you can see here, they're not Ethernet plugs. These are all SFP plus ports. You can see where everything's connected. You can see our uplink right here. Again, it gives you tons of visibility. It's really cool how all of this is baked in. So let me show you a couple things and how I showed you how easy it is to troubleshoot, move up the stack. Now let's kind of back out a little bit and focus on a couple of the different solutions. So I just clicked right here, what you might have seen. Let's go wireless, and we want to look at our access points. This is actually going to show you all of the different access points that we have on our Meraki San Francisco network. So again, this is entirely searchable. If I want to look just for our MR30Hs, then you actually would sort by model right here. And then this is going to show you the different models accordingly. If you want to sort by connectivity, this shows you all the devices by most connected, or you could do least connected. And if you can also customize all of these tables, and you can do this anywhere in Dashboard, but if you're looking at a table, hit this little settings button in the top right. Some pages it'll be a little plus, and you can actually add or remove different information on here accordingly. So maybe you care about mesh speed or mesh latency over there. Well, let's actually see how many currently connected clients are on that device. If I check that, you can immediately see all the different currently connected clients. If I want to sort by this, you can sort by it and then actually see how many devices are on that access point. So right now, even at 5:30 in the States, I know it's about 10:29 in Sydney where this webinar is presented for. And we still have this many clients on there, and if I click into that, again, it takes me right into this access point. So I see those 19 currently connected clients. I can see their signal strength. You can see they're on a 5 gigahertz channel right here, how long they've been associated, as well as the direct uplink traffic on this. And we can keep going through our troubleshooting. If I wanted to use, tools, look at the RF, or maybe follow this up the stack, I could do that very easily here. So let me show you one more thing before we get into some more configuration. I want to show you what our map and floor plan looks like. So we not only make it easy to troubleshoot and move around on stuff, but we actually provide the ability to set up a few different things. So one, we have this out that's actually just pulling this map from Google Maps that shows you here's all your access points on this building. But what's cool about it is you can actually upload your own floor plans to this if you want. So for us, you can see our different floors in the San Francisco office. Actually just click on one of these. Let's go to 500 Terry Francois 4th floor. Here's all the different access points we have. You can immediately figure out where anomalies are. You can see this access point is down. We could investigate that, troubleshoot it, see what's going on with it if we wanted. But you can also see all of these access points as well as how many, we'll give you this preview of how many unique clients have joined there today. So you can see this access point gets a lot of use. 179 clients here, 244 over here. So it gives you some quick information on all of these. And of course, if I click on any of these and I want to go to that access point, I can click on this link. It'll take me right into it automatically. All right, let me show off how easy it is to configure things in the Meraki dashboard as well. So if I come now over to configure access control, this will show you a breakdown of the access control over that entire SSID. So here at the top, we have all of our different SSIDs that we've configured. And if I want to do something like set up a WPA2 enterprise, maybe a Radius server, or use Meraki authentication or do MAC-based and something like that, I'm not programming out command line. I don't need some high level of certification or training on this. All I have to do is click a radio button or click whatever I want, and it'll change that accordingly. So for example, you want to set up a guest splash page so that when patients come on and they're in the lobby, they can just access something with a click-through where they actually accept your terms and conditions. That's as easy as turning this on and then hitting save. And even if you want to customize that, you can actually just come over to our splash page customization tool, And this walks you right through. Let's pick out a color. Let's name whatever we want this. Let's upload our logo, and then it's branded directly to you, your organization, and you're done. You can copy paste this basically to all of your different networks. You can do whatever you want, and it's very easy to accomplish with a couple clicks. So it's also very easy to configure different things like firewall and traffic shaping. So let's say I want to do something like set up what layer 3 access looks like, what layer 7 access looks like. It's as easy as kind of building out some firewall rules here, maybe add some layer 7 firewall rules because we don't allow AP on our network. We don't allow any gaming, no file sharing. Stuff like that is really easy to go through and say which ones you don't allow. Maybe you don't allow social web and photo sharing either. Or maybe you do allow some social web and photo sharing, but there's something in particular where you don't allow people to do when they're on site. So maybe they can't Snapchat. You want to limit some of the things that people are using to upload photos because people shouldn't be taking photos at the hospital or something like that. You can do that. Whereas let them use Line or something else like that. So it gives you a lot of ability to come in here and granularly control what access different users have. So next I want to show a little bit, let's move over to the switches, and then I'll show you a little bit about our security appliance because that's very, very popular as you're going through managing aged care, healthcare networks and deployments. So as you would imagine, if I go to switches, this is going to show you all of the different switches here. Same thing as on the access point page. If I click on this, it shows you a bunch of different columns. Again, if I want to see usage of current clients that are connected there, I can sort this by it. You can see 100 clients are on this switch. So let's actually check that one out. I click on it. Immediately, you can see it shows me which ports are being used, which ones are disabled, which ones are PoE enabled and using PoE. If I want to set up layer 3 routing or maybe some power rules and stuff like that, it's really easy to come on here and do that. So next, I'm going to show you, let's come over to our security appliance. So if I walk over to our security appliance, this is going to look very similar to everything else that you've been doing because, again, this is in the same platform. So let's come over to security appliance and appliance status. And this will look, again, like the wireless switching, the device management that I've been showing you. You have your device. Here's the uplinks. Here's a live view of those uplinks, not just for the WAN uplinks, of which you can see we have 2 connected using full duplex, which it auto-negotiated to, as well as our SFP that's doing 10 gig to our core switch. This is going to show you what the different WAN uplinks are providing here, what the connectivity looks like, serial number, different stuff like that. And this is one thing that I want to show you because it's really impressive how easy it is to manage this across the security appliance. So let me show you how easy it is to set up addressing and VLANs on a Meraki security appliance. So if I come here and you want to do something like NAT modes and I want to set up a different VLAN or edit one, it's as easy as clicking in this box and change it to whatever you want. You can see we can include a subnet using CIDR notation, /23, or maybe it's a /24 network that you have. You're having smaller broadcast domains, however you set it up. It's easy to have that, set up your VLAN ID, and then say update. If you want this to be broadcasted and propagated over the VPN, you can also change that here. So it's really easy to get in here, change things, update them, or if you want to set up a new VLAN, you can do it here accordingly. And what's another thing that's great about this, once it's configured, you can just take advantage of this anywhere else in Dashboard. So a good example of that, let's say that I wanted to set up a site-to-site VPN from our sites. Because if you look here, this is a good time to show how easy it is to manage multiple sites. So if I show you the network up here, what I've been doing is showing off our San Francisco network this whole time. But if I clicked in here, it's actually just as easy for us to switch over to our Meraki Sydney network and start managing our devices there, see what the network's looking like, see how many clients we have on there. Same thing with our London office. If I want to hop over to that, I would just click here, it takes me directly to there. So the thing I want to show you here on site to site is how easy it was for us to actually set up a full mesh site-to-site VPN connection between all of our different branch locations. So in the Meraki world, there's no setting up phase 1, phase 2 in command line, make a crypto map, and then say how you want these different things to work, and then doing that on both sides and different interfaces and all that. You just come here, you come to the site-to-site VPN page, you pick which kind of type you want, you pick spoke or hub, and then all I would have to do is hit save. You can see all of those VLANs that we've already set up in addressing in VLANs. Those are automatically here. If I said yes, use them over the VLAN or the VPN, that's already set. If we said no, that's not set. If I want to change those, I can still change it here. It's very easy to do this. I hit save, and then the Meraki cloud is going to manage everything else. We have a VPN registry that will update different devices, say, hey, here's the subnets you can access from these different locations, talk directly to this one. We tell the ones how to connect to different ones, how they're supposed to be routed, all of these different things. Whereas for your IT personnel or for yourself as a network engineer, all you have to do is come on and turn this on. So it really does reduce operation costs while adding huge amounts of power and functionality. So another good example of this on our Meraki security appliance is the Security Center. So what I did is I just came over to Security Appliance, Security Center, and we build this beautiful center here that's going to give you a summary of all the different security events happening on the network. So you can see the top source of threats, so you can actually see the geolocation of where different malware attempts, security vulnerabilities, and things have been coming from. And what's cool about this is a good time to highlight that we also do geo-based firewalling. So if you want to say specific traffic, maybe to block the United States traffic, or maybe block specific European countries, or only allow Australia to data from Australia originated there to communicate with your network, different organizations, things like that, you can do it accordingly. We also, as you probably guessed, made this entirely interactive. So not only does this light up as I'm moving around, but I can see there's 24 events here. So if I click on that, we'll actually drill into it more directly. If I want to get even more granular, you can see subsections and see what time different things happen. You can also filter this by different event types. So are we looking just for malware detections or IDS, or do you want to look when a device is cleaned, maybe something's malicious, anything like that? It's really easy to sort this accordingly. The other thing this does, you can see here the most prevalent threats that we have. If I click on this, it's going to give you a couple options. Probably my two favorite from this is, one, you could whitelist this if you know, hey, this actually is not a threat. This is a known thing that I'm doing. It's easy for me to click on this, whitelist it, and then you never have to deal with that again. We add it to the whitelist, which you can check elsewhere, but you don't have to worry about it. The other thing that's really cool about this is we'll link you to this database that has way more information about that specific vulnerability. So you can see here, you can see how long it's been out, some disclaimers. You can get more information about confirmations about this. We have descriptions about this vulnerability. And what's great about this is at the first stage, we've already blocked these threats. So we've already taken care of your network to block the things that you don't want to happen on that network. But on top of that, we'll alert you about it and then give you the ability to get more visibility into this and get more information. So not only have we automated the security so that we've protected your network, but we've actually made the teams more informed and given you more tools and power and access on your network. So it's a really cool thing, and this is a great example of how we're able to utilize being a part of the greater Cisco team to actually make a more intelligent Meraki network, because this is integrated directly with AMP. And if you're familiar with AMP or Advanced Malware Protection, or SourceFire's IDS, intrusion prevention and intrusion detection, those are a couple of the things that we used for us to know if threats are good, are bad threats, are malicious, are clean, different stuff like that. All right, one of the last things that I want to show off if, let's come back over to our main network. So let's say I want to go to San Francisco. I want to give you another example of something that will build automatically. If I go to network wide and I click on topology, what's cool about this is that, oh, I clicked the wrong link, but what we're going to automatically do in a bunch of these different things is show you an entire list of all the different networks that you have and kind of give you a status over everything. So if I want to see here specific Sydney devices and networks, you can see our guest network is up, is running. On our Meraki Sydney network, you can see something's having a problem. So if you want to detect an anomaly, you can click in here. Let's kind of see what's going on. So if I want to click into this, I want to look at Systems Manager or see a device that's been having a problem, I can do that. Or let's say I want to come over to my wireless access points and we want to sort by status or connectivity, we can do that as well. And what you'll notice right here, you'll see that there was this problem at 306 where this connectivity dropped. So if we wanted to, we could actually dive into here and check that out a little bit more. You see there's no connectivity at all. And so what's helpful for this is this will tell you different things, whether a cable was unplugged, DNS was bad, so we just got bad results for DNS. Whatever it is, we'll tell you that. In the case where we legitimately just didn't have connectivity, then that means that connectivity was lost. So you might want to go upstream, check out a switch, and see what's going on there. So here's your anomaly. STP is discarding packets from this port, probably because somebody misconfigured this network and plugged in a couple cables into devices that shouldn't be directly connected. So you can see this thing that I've never looked at here. It's leading me straight to this problem that I could relay to somebody, or I could click into this port and actually disable it myself if I want. So it really gives you a lot of visibility into these devices, as well as gives you a lot of power over it. So I want to remind that we do have cameras and phones available, and just to show you very quick, if you want to look at our IP-based phones, come over to phones, same thing. This is going to show you the different devices that we have in there. We only have a couple that we've set up so far in our Sydney office, but you can see their connectivity. You can see when it was unplugged. You can see different stats like that. So to end it off, I'll come back over to our San Francisco office. I want to show you our different list of cameras that we have. You can see all of these different cameras here. Remotely want to have access to them. I can actually search for one. So if I'm looking specifically for our exterior ones, I can start to type outdoor. I click on this, and what's cool about this is it'll actually show you a live stream of the different of the camera that we have here. So it shows you here's a device, it's overlooking the bay, or if you had an event in some specific room, maybe the lobby, a guest room, things like that, you can hop in here and check that out too. All right, so we don't have time to go into everything that we have to offer in the Cisco Meraki portfolio, but I hope this really did give you some eyes into all the different things you can do and how quickly you can actually configure different things as well as jump around to different parts of the IT portfolio, since it's all managed in one platform. So let me hop back into our deck and I'll keep going. So at the end of the day, a big thing that you want to do when you're looking at IT solutions is something that you can seldom do, but you can actually do with the Meraki portfolio. And with the Meraki portfolio, you can actually reduce costs, so your total cost of ownership can actually go down while you're adding intelligence onto your network. So we've seen in studies and different customer use cases and things that we've done that we so drastically reduce the operational cost of managing an IT portfolio that includes the whole network, device management, phones, security cameras, and all these things, that it can actually reduce your overall cost by adding a significant amount of intelligence, automation, and tools at your disposal. So this is a really cool thing. We have specific case studies around total cost of ownership that I recommend asking a rep or contacting Meraki for. I'm not going to go over that in this presentation, but you can see there's a lot that it adds, and I can tell you it's very worthwhile. So let me talk a little bit about the specific different platforms that we have in the Cisco Meraki portfolio. So one of the things that I actually talked about a lot was the wireless access points. And I will mention that we have many different models, including indoor and outdoor, and high performance available, including 802.11ac Wave 2. They are value priced. They support multi-gigabit if that's what you want, PoE, all of these different things. It's a WIDS-WIPS solution, so that wireless IDS, IPS, things like that also come standard, as well as application traffic shaping, so that layer 7 firewalling, layer 3 stuff like that. We actually do provide at the edge through our wireless access points. So even in the case where all you have is Meraki wireless, you don't have switching, you don't have our security appliance, you can still do a decent amount of traffic shaping for bandwidth limitations and filtering. For HIPAA compliance, for a lot more granularity into it, we do definitely recommend a security appliance that I'll get to in a bit. But this is a good time to make note of the fact that all the Meraki equipment does work standalone. So if you only want to buy wireless, or maybe you're only deploying wireless, you can do that. It works in a hybrid deployment, and it'll work on its own. It's just very helpful when you do actually add more devices to it. It's going to ease your operational costs as well as the management your IT has to go with. So next up is that security appliance, and this is going to get your fine-grained content filtering as well as that security center that I showed off that has the advanced malware protection built in, intrusion detection and prevention, as well as that zero-touch site-to-site VPN. And I mentioned that a couple times because that's one of my favorite features. I'm a network engineer from a traditional Cisco stack before joining Meraki, so I have personally done a lot of CLI and configuring different phases and VPN tunnels, and I can speak from experience that can be difficult. It's nice having some flexibility in certain areas, but if you're managing multiple sites or you're managing a large network, anything like that, you want to reduce cost while adding that intelligence, you can actually do that today with something as advanced as, the next-gen firewall like the MX appliance. So we also have model scaling from small branch to large campus. So you can see, so a little device that'll sit kind of on a shelf somewhere, and of course, like multi-U rack-mounted security appliances as well. And what's great is all of the features in the security appliance are available across that entire stack. So whether you have a little device that's meant for about 20 users, something like that, it's still going to support multiple uplinks. It's going to support AMP. It's going to support the zero-touch site-to-site, cellular, 3G, 4G failover. All of these different things all that functionality is supported across all the different sizes. So all that matters is the size of your network and how many clients will be on there, and then you can pick the right device accordingly. Next up, we have an entire portfolio of switches as well. So that's access and aggregation. So we're going to have aggregation level. You're going to have a 16 or 32 port configurations with 40 gigabit like QSFP plus. So that's your ag switch, and you can get it again in 16 or 32 configurations. And then we also have your access level, whether you need 10 gig. 1 gig, or you have our little 8-port switch, and you're just servicing a couple clients, and all of those come with PoE as well as available for PoE plus. We have hot swappable fans as well as power supplies. Provides easy QoS. We do physical stacking, of course, and we also have this feature that we call virtual stacking that we invented that basically allows you to configure multiple ports over multiple switches at the same time. So you could, with that, basically search for VLAN 101. It'll pull up, 60 different switches and maybe a couple hundred different ports that have that VLAN. You can actually just change that immediately. So that's our virtual stacking that we have as well. Next, we also have integrated device management. And this is a critical point because in the EMM industry, you don't have any other players that actually are part of an IT portfolio. So the fact that our EMM is baked in actually gives us the ability to make it so that you can do some powerful things like immediately integrate a certificate authority on devices. So if you're trying to do 802.1x or maybe ETLS capable wireless network, it's actually just a couple clicks because you're using the same, if you're using the wireless with our Systems Manager EMM solution, because we already know which device is enrolled. We know which Meraki access point you're using. We know if they're in security compliance, so we can provision them with the right certificate and the right SSID without an administrator having to worry about all of that. So I recommend if you're interested in that or taking advantage of the kiosk mode, the rapid provisioning. We also have multi-user support, which has been very popular in healthcare, so that physicians can have different access, or maybe different specialists and professionals can have different access when they're logged in or other people are logged in. So that works on all the major mobile device types, so iOS, Android, but also desktop computers, laptop computers if you're running Mac OS, Windows devices, Windows PC, as well as Microsoft Server that can manage. A couple more that we have in the portfolio. Again, we do have this an entire solution for communications, with our first model here being our IP phone. They're gorgeous but still very affordable devices that run a beautiful 7-inch LCD screen that allow you to interact with it. You can actually integrate call stats. You can integrate IVRs with a couple clicks of a button and set up how you want things to be routed on your network. It's really, really great. So it's very easy to kind of access that, get around, and again, that's in the same portfolio as the rest of the IT stack and the networking stack. Last and certainly not least is our security camera line. And if you're doing anything with security cameras, which within aged care and healthcare, I'm almost certain that you are. I highly recommend checking this out. It's going to eliminate some old technologies like the need for an NVR or VMS, having servers, having specialized and expensive software to manage this. It's all just going to be integrated in the dashboard. You can deploy these devices anywhere in the world. They'll get their configuration, come online, and then you can manage them like I was showing you earlier. So we have an indoor and an outdoor model available. And it gives you the ability to streamline deployment for these, as well as eliminating very costly equipment, again, like NVR and VMS, but adding some cool features like motion search. So you can actually, after things have already been recorded, specify where you think something happened, and we will kind of almost go back in time to show you when motion happened in that area. So last thing that I want to mention across the different device types is that if you are interested in one of the products or you want to see something specifically, we have an introductory webinar that we give for each different product type. So if you want to look at security cameras or communications, our EMM or MDM solutions, switches, security appliance, or wireless, very easy to just join one of those webinars and get access to that accordingly. So I know we're getting to the top of the hour, but I'm going to take a couple minutes here to go over a couple case studies to show you how different people are already using Meraki to kind of revolutionize how they do management. And so we have this case study here with a tune that's been very happy about their deployment. What's interesting about theirs is that it's a distributed deployment. So their IT is in one central location, and then they have branches and staff, clinicians, laptops and desktops all over the area, all over the place. And it makes it so that they can automatically VPN. It automatically VPNs to their data center. They're passing huge amounts of network throughput for their size every week. So as you can see here, 30 terabytes of network throughput per week, and they get visibility into that. They get the right staff connected to it securely. Those and desktops are secured. So really great customer case study there, and a good partner for us to be working with. We also have tons of different customers that have been using this. It's trusted by healthcare providers all over the globe. So not just in Australia, but proven deployments all over EMEA, all over the United States, all over the different countries, all across the globe. So it really is a very dialed-in solution that is also constantly growing for new IT solutions and different things like that. So again, I recommend checking that out. We have the entire IT portfolio, whether you're looking at that networking stack, security appliances, phones, security video, MDM, EMM, very granular policies and stuff that works across the board. So the next steps for you, I highly recommend taking advantage of our risk-free evaluations. So what we provide with that is you can scope out your network. You can talk to a Meraki representative and we'll send you the gear for free. You can actually spec it out. You can see how it works together, see the visibility you get. When you love it, fantastic. You purchase the things you already have, and you just keep using the configuration. No need to cut over. Or if you don't like it, no problem. This is risk-free. Just send that gear on back. We always recommend checking out the website. We have Meraki.com/blog set up to constantly be giving you more information, keep you in the know with Meraki solutions, what we're adding to them, new solutions we have, different things like that. And as always, if you already have your Meraki representative, feel free to reach out to them. And you can also contact your Meraki rep if you have them. If you don't know who they are, just go to Meraki.com/contact and you can get in touch with them. All right, everyone. Well, thank you for joining us here. I hope you had as much fun as I did, showing the demo, kind of going through some case studies and different things like that. But we'll give you a couple minutes back, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your day. Take care.